Today in Warframe, we're going to go over how you can farm the brand new weapons, the Tonkkatt and the Tak and Lug. These were two melee weapons that were originally introduced into the game through the Galleon of Ghouls event. It was a really fast, quick capture type mission where you captured a target and then you just shot out anyone with your ogress it gave you. It was a cool mission, but they've now put the Tonkkatt as well as the Tak and Lug in game. So how do we actually farm them? First off, with the Tonkkatt, just FYI, the farming locations are going to be the exact same for both of them, so don't worry about it too much. But for the Tonkkatt, you can farm them both at three specific spots. Plains of Eidolon, because the drops are actually from the Ghoul Expired and Ghoul Rictus for the Tonkkatt. So the idea is wherever ghouls spawn, you can technically get the drop, because ghouls spawn pretty universally in Plains of Eidolon in Ghoul Purge bounties, as well as Disruption Olympus on Mars. So if you're randomly running some Plains of Eidolon missions, you're killing Ghoul Rictus, you're killing Ghoul Expired, you might end up with the blueprint, the handle, or the blade. They are all at a 1.67 drop rate, so keep that in mind. That just means that you might have to end up killing a lot of ghouls, but they're a very common spawn enemy, so it's actually not that big of a deal. So if you just run either Plains of Eidolon or the Disruption on Olympus, good chance you'll get it. If you run the Ghoul Purge bounties while they're active, also a very good chance you'll get it, purely because the Ghoul Purge bounties will just spawn way more ghouls compared to something like Disruption on Mars or regular Plains of Eidolon. Now, if we quickly talk about the Tak and Lug, it's kind of the same idea. The Tak and Lug is dropped from the Ghoul Devourer as well as the Ghoul Augur at a 1.25 rate for each of those items. And it'll be able to, sorry, words are hard. You will be able to farm this in the exact same locations of Plains of Eidolon, Ghoul Purge bounties, and Disruption Olympus, with, of course, Disruption on Olympus being the best casually probably to farm. Plains of Eidolon's okay, but you're not going to get a lot of ghouls, but the Ghoul Purge bounty, if it ever pops up, is a great way to farm because it does spawn a lot of ghouls. Keep in mind, the Tak and Lug has 4 separate parts, blade, handle, guard, blueprint, versus the Tonkkatt, which only had blueprint, handle, and blade. That means you technically only have to get 4 drops for the Tak and Lug, and I think that's why they made the drop chance a little lower, whereas the Tonkkatt, you have to get 5 parts. It's just, 2 of the parts you have to get twice, so the drop chance is lower. You are still going to have to farm for a while, but it's really not that big of an issue because it's such an easy farm, okay? I decided to jump on for 10-15 minutes. I got to a C drop rotation, or I should say 4th round farming the Disruption Olympus. I ended up with a Tonkkatt blueprint, as well as I think I got a Tak and Lug blade or a Tonkkatt blade blueprint. And I was running the map randomly while I was running void missions, and one of them popped up as the Disruption yesterday. And in a pretty fast mission, I think I got 3, maybe even 4 parts. So it is obviously highly dependent on luck, but since you kill so many ghouls in the mission, you actually have a decent enough chance at getting the drop. Because think of it like this, the Tak and Lug altogether, 5% drop rate every time you kill one of the ghouls if you combine it. It's not quite that way because it's 4 separate 1.25% drops, but if you want to be quick and simple like me, think of it like a 5% drop rate, good chance that you kill a Ghoul Devourer, Ghoul Augur, you'll get one of those Tak and Lug parts. Or if you look at the Tonkkatt, decent enough chance that you'll get, it's damn near 5% drop chance as well. You'll get 5% drop on the blueprint, handle, and blade. It's slightly higher, I think, but it's only 0.10% higher. So it's expected within 60 kills since it's a 1.67 drop chance. Saying Tak and Lug is expected within 80 kills, but that's not quite how it works. You might get it instantly. It might take a lot longer. You can always also just trade for the parts. So hey, that, my people, is how you farm the Tonkkatt and the Tak and Lug. Now we're going to go take a look at the Tonkkatt in-game as well as the Tak and Lug in-game and quickly go find some builds online to judge the weapon. Cheers. Okay, everybody, now that we're in the simulacrum, let's take a look at the Tonkkatt. So this is a pretty cool weapon. As you can see, it's kind of like a double chainsaw, a Tonfa chainsaw, and it has a really interesting good gimmick. We'll look at the stats as well. We'll look at no build first, and then we'll take a look at a couple builds online and see how it goes. But the base stats are pretty basic and normal up here. 1.08 meter attack range, or attack speed, sorry, with 2.5 meter attack range, can't speak. We have normal duration, stuff like that. It's a little weaker at 165 total damage, but it is, I think, a little bit lower MR of a weapon, so it's not too surprising. And it is a slash and puncture weapon, so overall not bad, because slash is, you know, kind of nice. And the unique trait's insane, but we'll go over that in a second. Heavy attack damage and slam, not too bad, but again, like, the stats are good, but not insane. It has good crit chance damage and status, but nothing like through the roof. But the Tonkkatt, as you can see, I want to just see what MR it says it is. It's not the highest MR. It is a Master Rank 9 weapon, so you can get this really early on in the game, and it absolutely shreds enemies because of the unique trait. Increasing combo multiplier grants 4% heat damage for 15 seconds, stacking up to 30 times. So, you know what that means? You can get up to 120% heat damage. The gimmick is increasing combo multiplier grants the heat damage, so what you're going to want to do is quite literally just increase your combo counter. The nice thing about increasing combo counter is a handful of things. It's just a passive way to buff your weapon. You're going to attack and kill enemies no matter what. So 100% of the time, you're going to be reducing and reusing your combo. Even when you have stuff like Tennokai, the annoying thing is Tennokai works against the unique trait of the Tonkkatt. Because it's increasing your combo multiplier, you actually have to lose your combo multiplier. So this sort of weapon will work really well with heavy attack type of builds. I'd say something like Amalgam Organ Shatter would be really nice. You get your crit damage as well as heavy attack wind-up speed. It's nice because it attacks a lot faster. Melee damage on heavy attack, you can go for a full heavy attack build, but it's not really necessary. I would probably only bother slotting in Amalgam Organ Shatter, just because if you're going to heavy attack a lot, you might want a little bit of reflex, or sorry, wind-up speed. I wouldn't say you want galvanized reflex though. Actively, I would not want heavy attack efficiency, because you want to lose and then regain your heavy combos, right? So if you're going to do a combo build, it would still make sense, but the issue is you're going to constantly lose and regain your combo. Combo's still going to be highest general damage in the game, that's just kind of how it works, but the one thing you probably don't want is combo duration at all and heavy attack efficiency. Outside of that, you are good to go. You can build this thing however you want. You could do a heavy attack build, you can do crit with Elementalist, you can do anything. Higher status, less status, more crit, less crit. A full combo build even would work. If we quickly take a look online, I'm just going to be lazy and we are going to look at Overframe. As of right now on Overframe, there's a good handful of people who've built up the gun, or sorry, melee, but the most popular build that people are liking right now, right? Blood Rush, Condition Overload, Weeping Wounds, Galvanized Elementalist, Steel, Reflex, Virulent Scourge, and Vicious Frost. So I guess that's interesting. People are using a lot of random stuff. Again, I don't know if I would use Reflex because I don't think you want heavy attack efficiency, but it does give on melee kill plus 20 initial combo. So yeah, it's really dependent on what you're looking for. No matter what, this is a very strong weapon. I'm not going to bother building it up. We're just going to quickly talk about it. But I want you to show you that, as you can see in the top right, I'm getting a ton of heat damage built on combo. And that doesn't go away quickly, so you're good to just keep attacking while it slowly builds up. But then you'll notice once you're at max combo, yeah, you 100% have to start heavy attacking so that you lose your combo. That's why, like, Reflex can be good if you want to heavy attack more. Maybe you want to incorporate heavy attacks and Tennokai into your build. Probably will want to, let's be real, because that's just kind of how melee and the game works right now. But man, it's a really strong weapon if you fully build it up. It's just a lower mastery rank weapon, so it is what it is. Either way, this person has built up the Tonkkatt with Condition Overload, Drifting Contact. See, I don't know if I agree with that, because I don't usually want combo duration if you're going to constantly lose combo duration. I'd probably swap that off, right? Some status, some status, some status. I could agree with this. Galvanized Elementalist, Weeping Wounds, and Relentless combination. Okay, so they went for like a high damage status build. They didn't bother going for crit on this build. Nothing wrong with that. They're definitely just using Drifting Contact for when they get their heat damage built up, then they have good combo, and then they can just do a bunch of damage. They have Melee Influence, no shock there. Everyone loves AoE Electricity Melee Influence. Okay, Dreamer's Wrath, yeah, just boosts for crit chance and crit damage. So they're only really boosting the crit on their heavy attack there with Tennokai. Interesting, interesting. I don't know how much people actually use right now stuff like Overframe. I don't use it a ton. I just yeet on whatever I feel like when I want to build a weapon, but I'm just not building this weapon. Either way, it looks like this person's build, yeah, Discipline's Merit. They again went, oh no, different. They went with a Melee Affliction build. Enemies gained by status effects, gain additional stacks when they're knocked down or flung by enemies. Not bad, so can definitely smack people around. They went with Condition Overload, Prime Smite Orokin. Obviously, it's because they're going to be fighting Orokin. I usually slot these out because I'm lazy and I don't like specific building, but you do you. Quickening for combo count chance and attack speed. Makes sense if they're going to build up that combo really fast. Yeah, fair enough. They also have Blood Rush for crit, Galvanized Elementalist for status and status damage, Galvanized Steel for crit chance and crit damage. It's mainly for crit damage here. Let's be real, that's why it's so nice. But when you have Blood Rush, you gain a lot of crit chance. So yeah, it's just good in general. And Galvanized Steel gives double for heavy attack chance. Yeah, all good. Organ Shatter, Molten Impact, right? Pretty basic, understandable build. Just do damage. There's a billion ways you can build in Warframe Night right now, so I totally get it. I'm just not going to bother building up this weapon because, unfortunately, I'm running really low on Forma. Not Orokin Catalyst Reactors, but Forma. So I need to Forma up and build a lot of Warframes with the new Warframe update. Either way, that, everybody, is the Tonkkatt. Now let's take a look at the Tak and Lug and kind of judge this weapon as well. It's also a decent weapon, okay? It's not like godly, but it's pretty decent. And it also has an interesting gimmick. Heavy attacks hit in a wide area, inflicting blast status effect. So this mofo, I think, kind of works like a glaive, where you just throw it out and it does a blast. So heavy attack, I think, is just kind of like a glaive. I've used it a little bit, but I don't personally plan on building it. You'll notice at the build here, lower crit chance than the Tonkkatt, but the status is higher. And hilariously enough, this is a slash primary weapon with the Tak and Lug, right? I think it's because the shield is kind of like a... I don't know how it's slash, I'm not going to lie. The weapon's a little slashy, right? Because it's like a vibrating buzzsaw. Right, like a vibrating saw. So that's why it's slashy. Makes sense. Either way, other than that, the stats are decent. The slam attack and heavy attack damage is decent enough. Good enough normal range follow through. Nothing really abnormal here. It has straight up decent stats, but it is, again, just like the Tonkkatt, it's a mastery rank 9 weapon. So it's not going to be insanely strong compared to like other higher rank weapons. Not bad. Fun fact, I forgot to put on D&D in solo, so some random person just joined my group. That was kind of funny. But either way, the Tak and Lug, it's a cool weapon. It's strong. Not something that I personally would use a ton. I myself just threw on quick, like, whatever, Condition Overload, Elementalist, and Toxin, Berserker Fury, so that I can heavy attack a little bit, as well as throw out some statuses. But again, we'll take a look at a couple of builds on Overframe, just to get a quick example. I don't think at this point in Warframe there's a lot of terrible ways to build weapons, because weapons are just strong. Melee Influence, Melee Affliction, there's a ton of different builds you can go for, so we're hitting a pretty good point. But chances are you want to use this weapon like a thrown weapon. Like, look at this, that's the heavy attack. If you want to fully play with the gimmick, maybe you'll do a heavy attack explosive build, but like, it's weird, you know? You see how it does like AoE explosions everywhere? It's like, it looks like it shoots out the blast out of its the shield's like blast holes, like 1, 2, 3, like all of those circles. But it's a really cool, interesting gimmick. And I do like it. I think it's very lovely. So you can just throw everything around. The issue is, it isn't the best, like, blast radius, so it can be a little annoying to hit people. But hey, not too bad. Start throwing on mods, you can start getting a lot of damage on that. It's just I refuse to build it because I'm stubborn and I don't want to use a lot of resources. So if we quickly take a look at some Tak and Lug builds on Overframe, yeah, we can see with the Tak and Lug here that there's still a lot of people are doing a lot of straight up high damage and high status builds, but the popular Tak and Lug mods, that doesn't really matter because that's pretty common with any weapon where they just have random stuff that is used a lot. This person went with a Tak and Lug perfected electricity hybrid influence. So pretty understandable build, similar to before. I think it was, yeah, one of the same people from before. They went with a melee influence, electricity, high damage, and status with not a ton of crit, but enough because they have galvanized steel. Because realistically, if you don't want to build a ton of crit, you really only need one mod for crit now, and that is galvanized steel because it builds crit chance as well as crit damage. And you have to remember, since this is a heavy attack weapon, that's double crit chance for heavy attack, so decent enough chance that this thing will crit at a good rate when you're running any heavy attacks on the enemies. So not bad, not bad. You can always slot out something like Prime Smite Orokin. You can be lazy and throw on more damage, another status if you want, or another combo mod. There's a lot of ways to build it. You can literally do whatever you feel like, but no doubt this thing is absolutely going to destroy enemies like easily, 100%. Lastly, the Tak and Lug. Shovel Knight would be proud. I love this. Influence 5x heavy spam. Let's quickly take a look. Yeah, another influence. Killing Blow. They go with a heavy attack damage and wind-up speed. Organ Shatter. Probably should swap out Organ Shatter for... Oh no, they have Sax Steel there. So they're going for really high crit chance there. They don't have... Yeah, they could have some more other stuff thrown around, but that's always the case. It's just what you like. This build will probably, no doubt, absolutely destroy enemies. They didn't bother throwing Tennokai on it, but you could totally do that if you're willing to commit or swap some mods around, right? Like maybe you're like, oh, I don't need primed pressure point because that can be swapped out with something like, I mean, Condition Overload wouldn't be the best, but you could probably swap out. Actually, yeah, you could totally swap out Galvanized Reflex. While it is good, I don't find it's the best mod if you're looking for damage, right? I would swap out Galvanized Reflex probably for something smaller and then throw on a Tennokai mod. But yeah, they obviously just went with a constant heavy attack and initial combo shenanigans build. It should be fun. No matter what you do, it's a cool weapon, okay? And I do think people will enjoy them. I just refuse to build them out of pure stubbornness. I don't get shit for free. I'm not a Warframe creator, okay? Eat my ass. That's not happening. I gotta build stuff and actually get it. Ugh. You're gonna do enough damage anyways off your pet, clearly, so you could just build a heavy attack status applicator build with this thing, and then have your pet or companion clean house. Either way, everybody, that's the Tonkkatt, Tak and Lug. That's how to farm it and everything. Just thought I'd make a big video going over how to farm it and just quickly talking about the weapons, as I'm probably never going to go over them ever again in the game. So let me know what you think, and if you have some sweet builds, throw them on Overframe, let me know, make videos, do whatever you need. I refuse to, but I have seen some people make some videos. I thought, yeah, I think MH Blackie made a couple build videos if anyone wants to check those out, and I saw a lot of other like Tonkkatt, Tak and Lug videos popping around, so yeah, take a look at any of those if you need. Either way, everyone, that's it for this video. Appreciate everyone being here. Always, if you want to support the channel, subscribe, like, comment down below, and check out all the other social medias. If you sub to my Twitch or YouTube, it always helps. So thank you all. Cheers.